Welcome, everyone, to Skymetal. Our last session was a bit of a doozy. And so to recap it, because it's been a bit of time since then, well, all of you fell victim in your attempt at slaying the Lord of Rust Marrow. She bested you with her necromantic prowess. And in your defeat, you were all but one captured. For Toy, however, was slain outright. Daeralei, in your capture, you are brought below the earth. Your head opened for your dissectors to take a peek at what makes that little noggin of yours tick. And in there they found strange things, circuitry embedded into your neurons. They found physical evidence of your tie to Unity. However, you were able to escape as you helped out an unlikely friend when you came to once more sometime later. A Mr. Sandville Tret, a face that you had remembered from back in Torch, was also captured. And you helped him acquire his spellbook, and he dimension doored you out. And you got to see the sun once more. However, now, with a shaved head, as you have lost all your hair because of the unwanted surgical procedures done to you. And Yrsimagor, you were brought before Kulgara in the sands of the arena, shackled, your blood in your mouth. She stood before you and offered you an ultimatum. Join at her side, or she will kill Veris. As little Veris, sack over his head, was brought before you. And she had her chainsaw ready. And in that moment, you made the decision to spare Veris's life, to pledge fealty to Hellion, to become a Lord of Rust at your sister's side. And Veris, you were able to walk free, battered and bruised nonetheless, but you walked free as you fled into Scrapwall. As you were the last of the Torchlighters remaining, so to speak, that you know of. As all of your friends have been dispatched around you, or gone over to the other side, as Yrsimagor did. And lastly, we took a peek at what had been happening to Zaari ever since her capture by the Technic League. She was imprisoned up in Starfall, up in the Palace of Fallen Stars, the capital of Numeria, the headquarters of the Technic League themselves. There she was being interrogated for the whereabouts of a certain child. A child that had been stolen from the palace, the heiress of the Black Sovereign himself, the royal daughter. But Zaari is quite a formidable beast of a character. The secrets were not spilled. Instead, we saw that Zaari was sent with a collar around her neck befitted with enchantments and runes that bound her to a Gesh spell, a Gesh that made her obey her new masters. She was sent down on an expedition to the Scar of the Spider. And where we will pick up is many, many days later. It's been quite a while since the last session. And so we will pick things up with you, Daeralei. What have you been up to in the past week since emerging on your own from Hellion's lair?
I believe my first wow, words are hard. That's what happens when you have open brain surgery and they mess with stuff inside. Destination. My first destination was to go to the that hideout of the people to just see if anybody made it.
Mm-hmm. When you arrive at the Shadow Den, you see none of your companions there, as there's a solemn look amongst the other rebels there of Sevroth Slade, who misses an arm, of Redtooth, who has the pet rust monster, of Hatchet, who is continuously sharpening his hatchet, and Bree Kite, the technomancer, and Whiskafis, Veris's father, who is taking care of Donut while he continues to work upon making a shield for Yrsimagor out of that techno suit that you had acquired many days ago. But you look around, there is no Veris here, there is no Yrsimagor here, there is no toy here.
You said, but those others were here and doing
Yes.
things.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would lay low here for a couple of days if they would have me there. Just to give it time, because I don't know what's happened. Like, maybe I haven't lost hope yet that maybe somebody else could escape. If I escape, maybe somebody else could too. I would give it a few days. If still nobody has shown up, I think at that point Daeralei would make the choice to leave Scrapwall and go meet Mayenda at the place that we had agreed to meet once this was kind of over.
Gotcha. We'll then quickly move over to you, Veris. You are very injured and you decided to lay low at the healing house for many days to recover your wounds. In that span of a week since our last session, is that what you've been doing? Is just bed rest?
Yeah, I think laying low. He I think he would try and get to know some of the people at this temple and try to get like any kind of intel he can from the outside of like what's been going on, what are the whispers, what are people saying, because he's not going to try and like reach out or go out or whatever until like things have kind of died down a little bit.
You can make me a diplomacy roll, please. Or is that what it's called in this game?
No,
Hmm.
like
Investigation.
insight,
Investigation. There we go.
investigation.
Yeah, investigation. Or even persuasion. Just to coax information out of people.
Oh, could I do? Oh, I already rolled investigation. Could I do persuasion instead? Sorry.
Yeah, you can just add on the roll, whatever your difference is.
Okay, that's a 9. It's not.
All right.
Doesn't make
Yeah,
any
I think
difference.
that the folk here aren't really willing to talk too much about what's going on outside of town, and or they don't really know much because they're too sickly or injured here. The folk here are not the most knowledgeable, and you can't really get much. Immediately, a few things that would be completely given though to you information wise. You'd hear that, well, there's a new Lord of Rust that has been knighted, so to speak, crowned, and that being the mighty Yrsimagor. But you hear mostly the woes of how people got their injuries. You hear of laborers who, got his arm crushed during the excavation, or this one who's falling ill to something and can't afford medicine. Just the woes of people here mostly. Nothing useful beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. He's just gonna hang out then.
Okay. Daeralei, you wait for a few days, and no one returns. None of your companions do. There is no Yrsimagor, no Veris, no Toy that returned to the Shadow Den in those few days that you lay low.
I give my regards to Veris's father. My condolences as well, because I assume at this point that Veris must be dead. I let them know that I'm not abandoning their cause. I don't have the power to help them at this point. So I'm going to leave and try to gather more information, more people, more skills, and that hopefully I will be back at some point to fight with them again. But then I would leave town and go south to find Mayenda.
On your journey south, it is a little over a day, so you have to camp out one night on your way out of town. And that night, you receive a very, very strange dream as you are brought under the blanket of sleep, under the starry sky here in Numeria. You are in a meadow, soft grass beneath your feet, something that is rare here in Numeria in the Badlands, but not alien, just rare. You can feel the warmth and the softness of the grass and flowers at your feet. And ahead of you is a pond, a little spring with reeds around its edge. This deep blue water. You see animals coming to sip from the spring. You're coaxed towards it as you feel you're taking a few steps. You can see your own reflection. You still have your hair. You do not have the scars upon your temple. The water, dark as it is, looks back at you. It then turns red, going from a purple wine to a deep red, and deeper still, almost near black now, the color of blood. As rising from it is a feminine figure, shaped in blood. She steps forward. The blood parts from her body. You see the purple lines upon her skin. You see the fact that she's missing a hand. This is Mayenda standing before you. Or, I should say, Cassandra Lee. I think it worked. I'm not sure how this is supposed to go, she says.
And do you expect me to know how this goes?
I'm trying to deliver a message to you. This is how she could do it.
So I'm not just dreaming.
And no, I think you are dreaming. Anyways, she like looks down at her own form. She's still like dripping in blood. I need to speak with you. I'm north of Scrapwall. There's something I have to tell you. I have to show you. I am with a witch. Her name is Varkhessa. I almost died and she saved me.
And who are you then?
I want to be Cassandra Lee. And that is why I wish to speak with you more.
I would like to do an insight of this dream, like, if that's possible.
Absolutely. What are you looking for?
I want to know if this person, like, should I trust this person, this dream, this vision, or should I, like, or is it setting off, like, the whole, like, spidey senses, and that I am being lied to at this moment, that I'm being lured somewhere else. So I guess I'm trying to figure out the intent behind them telling me to come north, asking me.
Gotcha. Give me an insight check.
So I rolled a nat 20 for a total of 23.
You think that if someone was lying to you or trying to trick you, they would do a better job at this.
Okay.
So you think like you're not being tricked just because of the sheer, like, there'd be more setup, there'd be more like this is not the way you go about tricking someone. You could have done this better if it was really a ruse. Which makes
I
you
could have
think
done it much
perhaps
better, yes.
makes you think that it is genuine.
How far north?
There is a bough of trees at the edge of the woodlands to the north. Follow the creek, and that is where our camp is. And it's about a half day north of Scrapwall.
Look for me the day after tomorrow.
I'll see you then. How do I leave? Amanda like turns around to someone behind her, and then collapses into a pond of blood, where the dream ends, and you awake in a cold start, sweat clinging to your body. And as you feel a warmth run down your upper lip. If you reach your finger up, it's a nosebleed.
At this point, how long would I have been asleep? Like, does it look like it's
It's definitely like in the small
approaching
hours of
dawn?
the morning. Yeah, it's like a few more hours till dawn.
I think at this point, I would just pack up my stuff, resigned, and start retracing my steps back north. But I'd like to stay away from Scrapple as much as possible.
Just skirt around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we then move to Yrsimagor. Yrsimagor, you are in the Temple of Hellion. It is this massive structure below the earth, caged in by walls of Skymetal, humming an onerous sound, deep groans. Before you is a great screen, and upon that screen is the visage of a horned demon. That horned demon is Hellion, and crackling with static, he speaks to you. You are with your sister, Colgara, here, as he is addressing the both of you. My lords of Rust, I give you one task now. The others do as what they can, and I have tasks for them as well. But you, my two lords of Rust, I bequeath a quest great upon the two of you. There is a thing that I am seeking. I seek it. It is to the west of here, in a place of great peril, in the scar of the spider, in that overgrown, haunted valley. I need you to find me, hidden away somewhere in that jungle. A thing so dire, so important to me, and our quest to usurp unity from his throne. The neurocam of Cassandra. The two of you shall go to find it. You shall bring warriors with you to face the jungle's perils, and you will return it to me. Do I make myself clear?
I think Yrsimagor responds not with words, but with a salute in the form of a clawed hand across his chest, and bowing his head in a form of salute. Probably glancing to Colgara to see how she responds.
And she asks one question of Hellion. And where will we find this neurocam? What are we looking for? Hellion replies back. I've been in that valley once before, but I was not my own. I was leashed to Unity. I was his hound. I did not have my own agency back then. I know it is within a cave, deep in the bowels of that valley, but I do not know where. I know that that is where she hid it. As for the neurocam itself, imagine a helmet you'd fit upon your head, though with strange attachments to your temple and skull. That is what a neurocam is. Kulgara nods. I'll gather warriors then, she says. Good, Hellion replies. See to it you do not fail. It is of utmost importance you recover it for me. It is the key to unmaking unity. Cassandra knows that. And I know that. And with that, then, Kulgara follows along suit with the salute that you've done. As the screen flickers and shuts off, and Hellion's face vanishes. Once more, you and I, then, it seems, Kulgara says.
Yes. You and I traipsing through a jungle after some treasure that Hellion seeks.
I have something for you. Come, follow me. And she takes you, if you follow her, to her workshop, her own, office room equivalent in this great labyrinthine underground structure. And there, you can see that she gestures at a great suit of Skymetal armor. It is old, ancient, alien in make. It has supports where you're unsure why there would be supports there. It looks like a giant shell of a set of armor, though the entire chest cuirass of where the armor would be is completely open. I recovered this and tried to make modifications to it. It's too small for me, but I think it would fit you well, she says, looking down at you. She's a full 2 inches taller than you. As she gestures to this exosuit. Try it on. See if it's to your liking.
I will do so.
You step in. You sit on that little padded section where your lower back is. You're able to slide your one good arm into this section and slide your bad stump of an arm into the other one. And you realize you can move it about as you have a set of power armor. And in it, you are mightier even than you were before, though sluggish and quite heavy, a lot of inertia to your movements. It would take time getting used to this, but you can see the chassis around you with its rusted Skymetal parts to it is a full armor that encases you. Brutalist as it is.
I think there's a few moments of just stomping around the room and basically just going through all these motions and trying to test full range of motion, test reaching towards to grab at any weapons, basically just going through making sure that whatever range of motion that I have, if it's limited, understanding what those limitations are, just trying to get the feel for this. I'm curious. I'm trying to look this up because I feel like there's a rule that you can't rage while wearing armor.
Ooh, let me look that up too.
So I'm wondering how that is affected. I don't know how that's... excuse me, if that's in 2024.
You gain the following benefits if you aren't wearing heavy armor. That's the old one. That's 2014. Let me see if...
You can imbue yourself with private power of armor.
power.
Right? You can enter it as a bonus action if you aren't wearing heavy armor. That's 2024.
Yeah. So
good to know. I still have access to reckless attack and new fighter abilities, and I almost imagine internally there's I
think also I have an idea for the reason why it kind of blocks your rage too. But go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think there's maybe tied to losing one of his hands that he's a he transforms partially, growing these bear claws, and he is Yrsimagor the bear, but literally stripped to half of his striking ability. That was his big thing. That was his go-to, was bear claw, bear claw, bear claw, and he knows he's not going to be able to do that. And so I think that internally, Yrsimagor is viewing this armor as an excuse for not tapping into that rage.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that whatever it is that inhibits his ability to fully do that, he can blame it on the armor, rather than having... And not that he's necessarily trying to hide it from Colgara or anybody else, but I imagine he's probably trying to hide it from himself, too.
I imagine you bring up your two arms, and they're just like these stubby little mechanical hands. Not at all the things that you associate as being claws. And that part, the fact that your own claws are hidden behind metal.
I'm picturing almost not quite as intense, but also I think there's this even more prescient feeling as he holds up his hands, and particularly where that, I forget which hand it was, the right or the left, that was taken.
I believe it was your left arm.
I was gonna say that's how I'm thinking hand. That it was the left hand.
Mm-hmm.
So in particular with that, and seeing this sort of mechanical pseudo hand, he's also realizing that he is practically becoming the thing that he hates with this power armor. He is wearing... I just saw your comments, Sarah. He's becoming part robot, and it kind of... I laughed a little bit because this is almost, but not fully, a RoboCop moment. He's lost a part of himself, and he's lost more of the soul of who he is, sacrificing it to save Veris. And this is what he's become. He's now recognizing the cost. So I think that's this moment, you almost see it like a POV shot where he's looking at these hands and looking down at this mechanical suit. And I think that's where all of these emotions well up in him, and where he would normally have an uncontrolled rage. The armor's preventing that. Whatever it is that's preventing him from fully tapping into that. And that's when he just kind of tries to mask it by going through all these motions and seeing what the suit can do in front of Colgara.
And she will, blissfully unaware of the internality of you, she'll simply say, "It fits you well then. I'll have them bring it with us then. On our journey."
I need a weapon.
What do you want? We've got axes, guns, swords.
Sword. Big one.
I'll see what I can find.
As I realize I only have a bow because I gave away my sword. I forget who I gave it to, but I gave away my sword and I took a bow because he didn't have any ranged attacks. So
Was it Zaari that you gave your sword to? Or was that
no,
after?
it was after that.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of Zaari, we turn the scene over to Zaari. The world around you is chaotic. There's blood pounding in your ears, the feeling of adrenaline. You are deep in an alien jungle. The trees are towering over you, the sky blotted with smog, this strange otherworldly smog that drowns out the sky and drowns out the sun, casting everything in shades of gray and purple. There's screams around you. Get in formation! Don't turn off your barriers! And all of a sudden, like a Wilhelm scream. "Rah!" It's like you can see another one of these Technic League soldiers pulled off by some horror into the darkness of the jungle. You can hear the sounds of blaster fire by the Technic League expedition that you're with. As you see jumping out from the mist, this great crab-like creature that is like 3 times the size of you. This green carapace kind of lunging out from the misty shadows, grabbing one of the soldiers in its pincer, holding it up, snipping like its head off, and like devouring the brain and head of this person before casting aside the
like
limpless
a human
body.
soda pop.
Yeah. Carnage is all around you as you only have a sense of your bearing, and you have this thrumming around your neck as the collar compels you to obey. What do you do, Zaari, seeing this carnage around you?
Well, being with the old tribes, I think Zaari's used to a bit of carnage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the adrenaline is more just the thrill of being able to fight again, because it's been a minute. And she's hearing, the Wilhelm screams and seeing all these Technic League bastards getting taken out. And I think the first place she looks is Heiserk. She's looking for that tiefling.
And you can see that she has like her hands around her broadsword. She's looking around in the misty darkness. And then behind her, you can see looming out of the shadow the great big, like, purple and yellow glowing pseudo eyes of one of these creatures prowling behind her, ready to pounce upon her.
About how far away would she be?
She's about 15 feet away from you.
Cool. I believe what she would do is Misty step over behind Hysirk and use her channel divinity to abjure her enemy.
Awesome.
Which they have to make a wisdom saving throw. And upon failure, the creature is frightened and its speed is reduced to 0 for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Just to give her and Hysirk a minute to run.
That is going to be a failure unless your wisdom save DC is a single digit number.
It is not.
Which is not. So go ahead and describe to me, please, how you misty stepping in front of this massive crab alien monster in this alien jungle and using your channel divinity, how are you able to like get it to back down and scuttle back into the mists? What does this look like?
I imagine that the way that this looks is the camera kind of pans and it goes from Zaari's eyes and then it does like a POV of looking through her eyes, seeing Hysirk, seeing those eyeballs, and it's just this very soft golden glow as when it pans out to see Zaari, her whole body disappears, and then in this much brighter glow reappears behind Hysirk, and she lets out this very loud war cry that she once cried out back with her old tribe as a way to frighten this thing. Her sword comes up, it begins to glow, and that's her using her channel divinity.
You abjure this foe as it slinks back into the shadowy mists of this otherworldly jungle. And when we see once more, the camera pans out just a little bit, and we can see scattered around you the entire caravan of Technic League expeditioners, where you were kind of being one of their quote-unquote bodyguards. They all lie dead and headless in the muck and swamp of this place. Only you and Hysirk have survived. How ironic it is that they put in so much preparations, so many supplies to go deep into this place. Only for, within the first day of their expedition, for it to all fall apart to the native fauna of this place. You can see the toppled wagon where the supplies are. You can see the broken reins where one of the horses broke free to run off into the jungle. You see the headless bodies. It is just you and Hysirk now. As it seems like that great crab monster will not be returning, with you having frightened it off.
Cool.
And I think Hysirk breaks the silence as she looks around at the carnage. Well, shit, she says, as she lowers her broadsword to get a look at her surroundings.
If they didn't know that they would need more guards, then this is their own doing. Now, I wonder if any of them have a key.
After these, and she like hooks her thumb up to the collar, and
Mm-hmm.
It kind of glows and it'll like spark and at any attempt at removing it as it like shocks her. I think these are stuck upon us.
There must be a way.
I've tried breaking out, but it's unbearable pain. It's best just to let it sit.
No. And she'll do a search of the bodies first, just to make sure there's nothing that can be used to remove this collar on anybody here. Because she knows there probably isn't. But you never know. Some people are stupid.
There is the many corpses, and there is specifically the corpse of Captain Vora, which was the leader of this expedition. You can give me an investigation roll, please, to check these bodies and check the contents of the caravan.
I'm scared. Oh, poo. That's a... Can I re-roll?
You sure can.
There's three to reroll.
Three domain soups.
Yep, I need a re-roll for 3 domain soups.
I don't like that you called them domain soups.
That wasn't any better. So a 9.
You try scouring the bodies. And I think that you can't really focus too much on giving a thorough investigation here for anything like this, because you don't really know what you're looking for, because you can't actually feel any traditional key padlock on your collar, and B, there's these uncanny noises of the wildlife in this jungle, weird clicking noises, weird humming sounds, nothing of the likes you've ever heard before. As you kind of realize you are deep in this jungle, even trying to backtrack your way back is dubious at best. It leads, even going back the way you came is still full of jungle. If you're able to perfectly remember the path that you came down here with and not get lost, it is still perilous. And though all the trees are overbearing and look the same, getting lost would be trivially easy to get lost. But you do not find anything.
She kicks a couple of the bodies and looks up at Hysirk and says, well, we might as well take what we can.
She grabs one of the backpacks off of one of the people and begins scouring through the remains of the caravan for any of the rations and foodstuffs, and begins stuffing it into this backpack.
And I think Zaari will do the same. She's even grabbing an extra weapon or two just in case. I feel like she might even strip that captain of his armor and just put it on.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And with that, we will turn over to you, Veris. You have spent a lot of time here in the healing house, and your rib has been mended now from all this bed rest. The ratfolk mediciner comes over to you. You're looking so much better now, Veris. I take it you have some place to be then.
Veris stands. Finally, still a little sore, I think, since he was so close to death. I imagine it was a lot more internal injuries on him. But he stands and He nods. Yes, yes, of course. And he like holds up this like little vial with this gray powder in it. You know, rest is actually quite wonderful for spurring on ideas, and you know, I really was able to tap into my creative side much more than I have been in months. Adventuring is quite tiring.
I imagine the solace and solitude of some place to rest your head. It does wonders to ease your mind, or perhaps even the boredom of it makes you wander.
Yes, yes, but I agree. I think it is proper time for me to stick my head back out, so to speak.
Very good then. I'll have you know that here in this healing house, we do not charge for helping you get better, but donations are always welcome. And he holds out like a little, he like goes to his side and like begins to thumb open like a little pouch.
Yeah, Veris, I mean, sheepishly doesn't have any money, I wouldn't imagine, from being just thrown out back on the street. But I think if you'll allow it, he probably made, like, he's an inventor, so I imagine he probably made something, like a little tincture, if you would allow that.
Sure, yeah.
And
or maybe
he's
even
going-
like he figured out a way to like improve the recipe or something.
Yeah,
Like, oh, yeah.
something like that. He says,
Mhm.
I am so sorry, I don't have any money, but I want to show my appreciation for all of the help and as well as the discretion from being at
course.
this house.
Of course.
And
And
yet
he like sadly like begins to tie up the little string around that little sack and put it back upon his waist into his apron.
but he is going to share whatever that is. Something I would like to imagine it is material to help them, as he hands that off.
Oh, this is quite good. And you hand like this little like tincture over, and you are quite the crafty individual. Thank you. Oh, you still have a bit of a cough. I see. Be careful with the cough. I don't want to bruise your rib.
Veris nods. Stay well, he says as he turns to leave.
And you as well. I think it a good omen if I do not see you again.
I wish it so as well, as funny as that is. And then Veris is going to leave.
And where does Veris head to?
Veris is going to go to the Shadow Den.
And there you enter the Shadow Den. You see Sevroth Slade along with Redtooth talking over that little like planning table at the center of the den, illuminated by the candlelight. And there is a face you've not seen before. She is small in stature, like you, green-skinned, wide-eared, a goblin. It seems like the three of them are speaking. But you look around, and Whiskefist is the first to actually notice you. Ah, my boy! I'm so glad you've returned. And Donut comes along with Whiskefist. And Donut will affectionately rub her head up into your thigh and kind of smell and sniff at you. Perhaps it's a bit terrifying seeing a Donut, the large beast she is, approach you so quickly, only then to give you affection at the last moment instead of trying to eat you.
Yeah, I think still uneasy around Donut, Veris will like reach down and pet.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? It's
I'm
nice
good.
to see you.
Well, I was worried that, well, you see, your companion came by, Daeralei, and
Daeralei,
yeah,
she's alive.
she came and stayed and left. She's gone now. I was worried with only her returning that something had happened. But you're well, I assume then, Yrsimagor and Toy are as well as good. I have a shield ready, don't you know?
Yeah, you see immediately Veris's face falls. I'm afraid that Toy is dead. And Yrsimagor is lost.
Oh, this is tragic. I'm so sorry. Lost how, if I may ask? This makes sense. Daeralei, when she returned, she besotted. She seemed to just be waiting for all of you to return. What happened? She wouldn't speak anything of it.
I'm afraid that I cannot bear to say much more. Not until I have a plan.
Well, those three there, they're trying to plan something. As Whiskefist, your father, gestures to the three of them standing over the table. Obviously, you can't quite overhear what they're saying, but they're definitely chatting about something, trying to discuss some kind of like plan and whatnot.
I will. And you see Veris turns to leave, but then stops and like takes a moment, and then he's going to like give his father a big hug, like just throw himself into
I'm so glad you're well, boy. I'm so glad you're well. And you can feel like that kind of like that bony hug that Whiskefist gives you, because he's venerable in age, and a little tap on the small of your back. I'm glad you're all right, boy. I don't know what I'd do if I'd lost you.
I am back. You see, Veris says after a while, and then he's gonna go to the others.
Mm-hmm. You see the fact that neither Redtooth nor Sevroslade had noticed you. Because of your small stature, because of your late feet. They're busy, and their backs are to you. They're busy talking with this goblin woman on the other side of the table, who's like she sprawled out some notes and something onto the table, and she's talking. And Sevros will say, "Louse, are you sure all that's true?"
Obviously, it's true. I wouldn't have brought it here if it wasn't true.
No, we can make use of this. God. Oh, Veris, you're alive. Sevros looks at you as maybe you stepped on like a creaky floorboard or something to betray your presence. And she kind of jumps and starts seeing you, looking down at you. I heard about the others. I'm sorry. Daeralei was here for but a few moments, a day or two. She was waiting for you. I'm not sure. She left. She left with some kind of mission in mind.
I do hope our paths cross again one day, but I have another mission in mind that I must keep my attention to. And
What
he
is
looks
that?
like grimly at the others and warily over to the goblin.
Veris, this is Louse. She's our spy and informant. She's how we know what goes on in Hellion's domain. She's been masquerading as a Hellionite these
She's
past few
very
months.
much wearing the Hellionite armor as well. She's kind of...
Yeah. So, Sarah, you can give us a full description of Louse, please, for everyone here.
Louse is obviously a goblin. I'm going the fun way. She's got a little tail with a little bit of fluff on the end. And you can see that much like a cat's, it's flicking because not only is she trying to plan, she's irritated because they're like, are you sure this is true? And she's like, if I didn't see it with my own eyeballs, wouldn't have told you. She is a lighter green in color with this very bright, like, red hair. And her eyes are this very bright yellow color, and she looks over at Veris. I am sorry about your friends. Multiple. But at least a few of them are still alive, and I like to believe that we can get your big friend back.
Yeah, Veris nods. Then we are aligned. That is my mission.
Oh,
That
you
is
want
what
to
I
get the big
must.
guy back?
You see, he just nods once. I do not think it will be easy.
Oh, it's never easy, but it's always fun. I know where they're headed, too.
Where?
They are headed to the Scar of the Spider. They are looking for something called a neurocam. I don't know exactly what that is yet. But they are getting ready to leave.
Veris looks to the others. Where is this? What is this? Or has Veris ever heard of this?
You would know of the Scar of the Spider by hearsay only, as it is a haunted, dangerous, perilous jungle far to the west of Numeria, far beyond where any of the barbarian clans would dare claim their stake of territory. It has been a horrid place for all of time. It's a place you simply do not go. And Louse would know that they've left already at this point in time. They left a few days ago for their expedition to the Scar of the Spider. Colgara, Yrsimagor, and a retinue of Hellionite soldiers and warriors that went with them.
All right, so I'm coming with you. Wherever
That's
you're
good.
going.
That's good.
To the scar of the spider? Sevra says to you, like in disbelief. Veris.
If that is where Yrsimagor is, then yes. That is where I will be.
Very well. In Kulgara's absence, I think this is the best time for us to strike at the fortress. One fewer Lord of Rust to guard him. That is what we will be doing. Redtooth says his rust monsters are ready. Hatchet has gathered the forces of many of the different clans here in Scrapwall. We will take the fight to Hellion. And you, Louse, are you joining Veris, or are you joining us?
I think you watch as Louse kind of looks between both quote-unquote groups. And she steps towards Veris. And for being small, she's about the same size as Veris. Her footfalls are very heavy, which makes her sound like she's a lot bigger than what she is. And she comes over and she offers her hand to Veris.
Yeah, Veris looks... You can see, like, there's, like, this very, like, tired look in Veris's eyes. Like, he looks... like the light that had been there at one time has gone, and he looks, and he nods, and he takes her hand and shakes it firmly.
And we bring the donut.
And as you look down at Donuts, you see that Donut has come to headbutt you in the thigh once more, Veris. You look over, and there is something strapped to her back. A big shield with the membrane of that, suit that you recovered from that haunted wreck has been overlaid on top of this like wooden shield frame. It's like strapped to her back, almost like a tortoise shell. And your father steps out from, speaks up from like leaning in one of these chairs in the corner. I couldn't help but overhear that you're going to find Yrsimagor. Well, can you bring that shield for him, please? And with that, we'll go to break. And welcome back. We resume our journey, our adventure, our story. We cut to you, Daeralei. You've been journeying a day and a half north of where you were to the northern hinterlands of Scrapwall. You see the bough of trees at the crook of the creek that was described to you. There's smoke in the distance from a campfire. Down this mesa you go, and you'd see a camp that's been set up. In the distance, two figures sitting at it. They're too far away for their features to be identified.
How far away am I at this moment?
Quite a distance where, like, you are up on an overlook. They are down. They are like small and indiscernible. So I'm not sure how. Is that like? Can you see a mile away? Probably. Can you see a person a mile away? Can you see a person a mile away? It'd be a little under a mile, about half a mile away. The good part of a kilometer.
That's better. I can understand that now. Is there a way down, like an easy way down?
Yeah. Yep.
I'll just start
Mhm.
down. I mean, I don't know if this is them, but guess we'll find out.
Upon your approach, the details will get more and more clear to you as they come into view. Notably, you'll see a figure with purplish hair that you know is Mayenda. Or should I say Cassandali? But the other figure you do not recognize at all. Both are feminine, obviously.
I will approach quietly. I'm not trying to hide myself necessarily, but I'm also trying not to be obvious as well. If I manage to get within 30 feet before they notice me, I will speak to Cassandali / Mayenda in her mind first.
Gotcha. Jake, I want you to describe for me, please, what it is that Varkhessa is cooking over the camp spit, and what Daeralei would see, what Varkhessa looks like in a kind of like dressed down, hunkering down at campsite for a few days kind of vibe, laying low. Go ahead and describe this for me, please, Jake.
I will do that. I'm also making a date. You see hunched over the fire, less hunched, more crouched. But even crouching, she looks like she is almost as tall as probably you, Daeralei. She has long, thin, almost alabaster white arms and legs. She wears robes of red and white that look like they may be torn or at times almost look fluid on her body. Her head is covered in a wild shock of hair, and looks like there may even be some kind of animal skull woven into her wild hair. All up and down her arms and visible parts of her skin, you see tattoos in red. She is tending to the fire and to the spit, some sort of probably some kind of like a large duck or goose or something, some kind of bird, and she is just tending to this, and as you approach, whether she's noticed you or not, she stands up to her full height, and you see that she is just shy of 7 feet tall.
And upon your approach, Daeralei, you would see these two figures. This tall, white-skinned woman and Mayenda. Mayenda is just kind of sitting upon a rock, thumbing over some of her belongings, but well within your telepathy distance now.
Yeah, so as soon as I'm within distance, the other lady, she stood up, she's tall, which is a little off-putting for Daeralei, knowing that like Daeralei was actually one of the tallest, except for, Yrsimagor was, a little bit taller, but so this woman is like tall, say with the big capital T. And as she's getting closer, her eyes are on this woman's back at this moment, and she will say to Cassandra Lee, and are you in any danger?
Immediately she jumps in a start, grabbing her little blaster pistol that was lent to her. And she like kind of wheels around, and she'll see you kind of like down like the kind of the bit of the outcropping and hill, obscured by a little bit of the dried grasses. And she'd like shake her head and put the blaster gun back away on a holster at her hip. Jesus, you scared me, she says out loud to you.
Yeah, I think it's comforting seeing that she's actually armed with a blaster, which lets Daeralei enough comfort to actually step out such that and approach more openly.
And Varkhessa, you hear Mayenda, your guest, kind of speak up. Oh, you startled me, talking about a figure behind you.
I'm I want to roll a perception check to see if she startled me. I turn around to face you, Daeralei, and you see, whether tattoos or makeup, you see her face is sunken eyes with red around them, and more tattoos across her face. And she looks at you, looks at Mayenda. I recognize your blood. The scent of it. I connected Mayenda to you recently so you could speak.
You're the witch.
Varkhessa, Bloodweaver. You are Daeralei.
Daeralei just nods. And you can see, like, at this moment, Mayenda could probably see that Daeralei is a little bit worse for wear. Instead of the long white hair that she would normally have had, and the, the kind of the headband that kind of covered most of her one eye, didn't cover it such that she couldn't see, but covered most of the damage of the scarring around it. That's gone. The hair's gone. She's still wearing a hood, but the scarring on her face, like around the head, is more visible now. So Mayenda could see like the circular tooth marks that would have been around the head. Plus, there's much more vivid and new scarring that's happening. So that's covered. So you just see the little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
You have traveled far to reach us? Are you healthy? You don't look so well.
I have seen better days, but
Are you
my
injured?
body is fine. No. Nothing that you could fix.
You'd be surprised. Are you hungry?
Daeralai's about to say no when her stomach disagrees and rumbles.
There's probably
Goose
at that
smells
moment
so
there's
good.
that goose fat, that grease drips into the fire. We have plenty.
Yeah, I think so. Without any more words, Daeralai would just approach the fire, sit, I think probably on the other side of Amanda. So there's like Varkhessa would be on one side and Daeralai would be on the other, so that she's got Amanda in between the two of them. / Kazadali. And I think at that, like, she's trying to figure, like, she just turns to the woman. She's like, "How do you want me to address you now?"
I still feel as a. My name is Mayenda. Cassandali is not me, not yet. So I know where she is hidden.
Very well. Mayenda, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you again as well.
That's probably the warmest that Daeralei has ever said anything to Mayenda.
Since we parted ways, I had an altercation. There's this man. He was begotten, robes. He had a strange, crazed look to his eye. I tried to ignore him, find a way to not have our paths cross. But he was in search of me, it seemed, as he pursued me. I couldn't lose his tail, so I confronted him. The look in his eyes, they were alabaster silver, almost as if they shone with a light backlit. He spoke, with a voice that was not his, a voice that called itself unity. It asked me to come home, and in that moment, I was filled with fear. And so I killed that man and cut him down.
You were filled with fear when you heard Unity's voice?
Yes. On his body is how I got this. And she holds up the blaster gun. And she says, "It's far better than the crowbar that you all gave me." And she still has that crowbar as a melee weapon.
What did this man... How long ago was this?
About 4 days ago. But... And she kind of like gestures to her side, and then you can see there's a bunch of bandages over her kind of like gut rib area. Titan tried to kill me. I would have been dead if it wasn't for her. She found me bleeding and saved me. And she gestures to the witch that's tending to the goose on the spit.
Daeralei would turn and look at her, at Varkhessa, and kind of like give her a nod of not approval, but like of thanks without it saying anything, because that's as close as you're gonna get. This man, what did he look like besides the eyes? How tall?
Short, he was wrinkled, wizened in years, long gray beard. He was missing
Does,
some fingers on his hand.
does her
Uh,
description at all ring a bell? No?
no,
Okay.
no. It wasn't that man that was speaking to me. It was as if he was a puppet. And I just felt this primal fear take over me. And I've come to think on it and ponder it, and I know that that was Cassandra telling me not to go to Unity, not to beckon to his voice.
So Cassandra does not want to be reunited with her father.
That is very clear, yes. I wish I could speak with her. I wish I could understand her. She seems so far from me. I know that I was once her, but God, I do not feel like it.
I wish I understood more. I have always had, she's gonna laugh, faith in what I knew. But everything I thought I knew, I have had to question in the last few days.
What has happened? What happened to you? She asks, kind of like pointing up at your bald head. Let's all sit down first. I think this is a bit of a story,
Yes.
and I think in this we'll have the three of you kind of like sharing the roasted goose with whatever like leftover stew and soup is from the past few days to supplement this, like with those like boiled veggies, boiled root vegetables in it and stuff like that. As you share in story around this campfire as it grows to evening. So what happened?
I think, so Daeralei makes sure, he finishes eating first. And then she begins the tale a little bit slow, talking about almost kind of glossing over the stuff that happened at Scrapwall because we don't want to take it too long. But she wants to prolong this part of the story until after they finish, till they finished eating. So she tells them a little bit about the Lords of Rust and some of the things that they went through and what they found and all the sort of, like the ruins, etc. I think it's when she talks about the ruins, she mentions that's when she would say how they found forgive my brain. And then like the first thing I know when I gained my powers was that Unity was the one who gave them to me, and that they wanted me to find you, to find Cassandra, and wanted me to seek you out so that you could reveal the glory that is Unity. But since then, when we were in the ruins of the ship, we heard a missive of the captain, long dead captain, about how there's this thing called the Dominion that had poisoned this Unity and corrupted it. And I don't understand what that all means, or if this is before or after I knew Unity. I just know that I have not spoken to Unity for some time, but it is definitely not thousands of years ago. So I'm sorry, my thoughts are muddled, but it made me question everything that I have known and what I am doing and why. and how you and Hellion are involved. And then that brings me to the next part of my story. And then this is where Daeralei would put down the food because there's not going to be more eating at that point. She pulls back the hood. They can see this probably the ragged red scar that's left. It's probably still inflamed a little bit. It's has not been treated well. I don't know what happened to me once we fought with the Lord of Rust called Marrow and perished. I thought I was dead. I thought we were all dead. I believe for some reason they kept me alive and they killed the rest. But I woke up in considerable pain and my head was bandaged and I found what you see here. I remember some words. I thought I was dreaming, but they said something about... I forgot the word they said. Transmitters or arrays or... they were words I did not understand, but apparently my brain is littered with them, infused with them. And that is the reason I am still alive. Why they did not kill me. I managed to escape. However, it was far too easy. So I can only assume that they meant for me to escape. And what that means, I don't know. But that brings me to the now, and to you, and to the fact that I don't know what is going on. And I don't know who I serve, and whether you should go back or not. But if Cassandra Lee is afraid of the voice of unity, there must be something there.
I wish we could speak with her. She visits me in my dreams sometimes. She speaks to me in a cave. In a cave where outside is this misty jungle of gray and purple sky.
And I think maybe with some of that description, Daeralei would kind of... And does it have trees like, and they're not even trees, but like she describes some sort of like this fungal growth.
And she nods. It did. And the water was brackish. The way the fruits would glow on those strange trees.
And
It was hauntingly beautiful.
But eerie at the same time.
Eerie. Yes.
And the sounds that you'd hear. Not buzzing like flies like you would think in a regular, but more like piercing shrieks that pierced your brain.
And clicks.
Yes. I think I've been there. But I don't know how I got there. I just know I barely made it out.
That's where I think Cassandra Lee is. She keeps telling me to find her. And it's always there, in that cave. Maybe you were trying to find her too.
Maybe. I do not remember that, but if she is telling you to go there, I think we should. Because I have the feeling that I need to go back. As much as I do not want to. Something is also pulling me there. Maybe the answers we seek will be there. You've been awfully quiet.
I find it to be very impolite to interrupt someone's narrative when they are telling a story.
I think that Daeralei actually kind of looks at you and is almost impressed, because not many people that she's come across and known would have done that. So she kind of now looks at you, up and down again once more, like giving you a better, taking better stock of who you are. Oh, that is my story. And you?
My story is nowhere near as grand as yours. As Meanda tells you, I encountered her wounded, gravely injured. I used my magic to heal her. My knowledge of medicine to treat her wounds, and she is the better for it. I used my magic to tap into the arcane, connecting your blood and hers so that she could communicate with you and tell you how to find us. I am a blood witch. It is the blood that grants me my magic. It is what I do.
You see no judgment from Daeralei. If you have had other people judge you for that, you see none of that in Daeralei.
For now, that will have to suffice for my story. Your connection is with Meanda. Meanda trusts you, therefore I trust you. But I do not yet know you well enough to tell you the intimate details of my story. Perhaps another fire and another goose. I will tell you more.
And I think that just kind of called to Daeralei's soul a little bit. And there's a little smirk when you say, I don't know you well enough to tell you the story. And only very imperceptible smirk and nod. As maybe a little bit of light kind of reached Daeralei's eyes for once. I like this person kind of thing. That's immediately gone and covered. So you will join us in our journeys?
It seems in this case you are the one joining us. But yes, for now it seems that the blood has connected us. I am curious to see where it will take us.
And you are not afraid to journey with us into this horrific, insidious, torturous land?
You have told the tales of the horrific and hideous things that you have witnessed recently. Believe me when I tell you that my eyes have also seen the horrific, the hideous, the inhumane. You ask if I'm scared? Yes. I would be lying. Anybody who tells you they're not frightened to go into such places, they are lying. But it is where the blood leads. It is where I will go.
Well met, Varkhessa.
Well met, Daeralei.
And I think at that point, if there's a little bit of goose left, or whatever bird that we're eating, Daeralei goes for a second piece.
I mean, it was a whole goose. There's probably some left.
There's got to be some left. Yeah,
Some
Daeralei's
bones to
going
pick
back.
at. Whatever isn't eaten, and I imagine probably the carcass gets thrown in the stew pot. So we have something substantial waiting for breakfast. I didn't realize it until Vi said describe what Varkhessa is cooking, that Varkhessa is apparently a bit of a camp cook. So I'm cool with that. I hope you like blood pudding. Just kidding.
Yum.
And blood sausages.
Just don't ask where
blood
I source
pudding
the
and-
blood.
And bloodberries. Yum, 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 yum. Minced
Yeah,
blood
I don't
pie.
think definitely Daeralei is not going to ask you the questions about your magics because doesn't want to answer questions about theirs. So,
And so, 3 groups make an expedition into the scar of the spider. The 4th, and thus the first expedition, already is there and already is broken apart. As we will briefly cut, as we witness Zaari and Heiserk getting their backpacks and gear ready from the caravan and setting off into the jungle to try to find and make something of it. Because that is where we're going to pan to black. And that is the chapter finale of Lords of Rust. Our next chapter we see next time, chapter 3, Valley of the Brain Collectors.
I was expecting like Valley of Death or something like that, and then you just went right to Brain Collectors. I'm like, not a vague horror, just a very specific horror.
very specific.
Poor
Very
Daeralei
specific.
with her head already wounded.
And you saw the tooth marks, the bite marks,
Yeah.
the big circular maw of something.
That'll be it for tonight's session.
Fantastic. I'm excited to see how we all come together. I'm stoked that Varkhessa struck a chord with Daeralei, and there's this sort of mysteriousness. They both have this sort of, I guess, almost like a mutual respect for maintaining their own secrets until that trust is earned. I'm excited that Sara's playing a goblin named Louse. I love that. And,
I love her.
And I was super stoked building Varkhessa because I have never played a character even remotely like this one. She's so different than anything I've ever played, and I'm super excited to see how long she survives.
Dude, she seems badass.
I wanted to put an air of mystery around her, and for her own reasons, she's not the kind of person that's gonna, as soon as you meet, she's gonna tell you what her story is and what she's out for. And I want, every time something's revealed about her, I want it to be potentially a surprise. But I'm super excited about it. I'm excited just to be playing with everybody again. I'm sad that Yrsimagor and Veris aren't together anymore.
Not for long. I might meet up again.
Yeah, I'm excited, but also very much not looking forward to what the future holds. I clearly need to make some shortcuts for myself and Sarah's nameplates to switch on the fly. Because tonight I just
That'd
had
be very
Photoshop
handy.
open
Mhm.
and was literally just typing in the new name. I didn't know what order people were going to be introduced in and who was going to be who when.
I kind of threw you a little bit of a loop there.
No, this was very cool catching up to what's happened and where everybody is, and the way
To
you're
me, it kind of feels like a little bit of like a Fellowship of the Ring moment where the Fellowship is like scattered and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, big shout out to you, Vi, for turning what could have been a TPK or a campaign ending moment into however you've managed to work this into a whole new adventure with a lot of the same characters and some new ones, and still keeping those characters that have been off the board for a while so that we get to see what they're up to and how they're moving around. It feels like a I don't know how to describe it other than it's kind of like you've been watching this movie or this TV show and it ended with a wild cliffhanger, and you wait a full year and then suddenly it starts, and you just, with every new scene, you're like, where's it going? This is so cool. And you're just excited to see everybody again. And I think, I can't speak for the others, but I have full trust in letting ourselves be led once again into the fray of whatever dangers you're going to throw at us.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally felt like this is like season 2.
Yeah.
The same some of the same cast, new cast coming in, but stories taken on another.
This is the thing
next little
that
journey.
this is the thing that writers do if they're writing for a Netflix show, where every time they go to write a season, they make sure that the season finale is a good like actual ending to the show. If they don't get their season renewed, and then we got a season renewed. Shit, I gotta come up with another story and have it come to a proper like season finale that could be an actual full ending. With writing every season if it was the last,
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's
kind of what happened here.
Yeah. It was good.
But yeah, we'll
Very
end
cool.
with a DPK. Oh shit, we renewed the season? Okay.
All
This
right.
is kind of a pilot episode, so.
Well, it's a good point to let everybody else know, because I let Vi know. We will not be able to play in 2 weeks because I will be out of town. So it will be a month before we can play. We'll get one more session in before MTD goes on hiatus. And then we'll be back in January. So we can at least get that Chapter 3 Part 1 in a month from now.
You're telling me that Chapter 3 Part 1 is going to be the Christmas special? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, technically, it's the last one before Christmas and the holidays, so... I remember what you did in Avernus, the way you...
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
one place you never
gonna...
thought there could be a Christmas special, and Vi manages to make Christmas in Avernus. That was incredible.
It was great.
We do have this week. You can join us on Thursday for our episode 30 of season. No. Yeah. 30. I lost track. I think it's 30. Of Kids on Bikes of Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. Season 3, episode 30. That sounds right. It doesn't matter. It's up there. And things are still happening. So join us for that. Reminder that if you're watching with us right now, you have just a few hours left to get some sweepstakes entries to donate to the Legends of Eleonora. There we go. Donate to the Legends of Eleonora fundraiser for the sweepstakes here, for a chance to be one of 2 people to get to play alongside Todd Stashwick, Terry Metalis, Eugene Cordero, Melissa Navia, and Jerry Ryan in Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus presents Legends of Eleonora, A Reaping in the Shade, our new charity event. So please do check that out. Winners will be announced tomorrow sometime. I'll share this on the socials when those are announced and everybody's sharing those. And that game is in a week and a half on November 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv/mini-terrain domain. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Shout out to Alice XN and Dice on Ice RPG for the resubscriptions. That's 16 months and 76 months subscribed, respectively. So thank you for that. And thank you, everybody, hanging out in the chat. We love seeing chat popping off. I don't always get to read it. I do get to look at it a little bit more as a player. But we appreciate everybody. And if you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background, or maybe you're listening with us on the VOD later, know that we appreciate you and hope you enjoy watching or listening to our games as much as we enjoy playing them. And finally, a huge thank you to everybody around this virtual game table. Our game master Vi, Kaeryn, Sara, M, myself, without whom this would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
A brain collector.